So if you don't mind, let's have a little coffee clutch. You know, it's not a term that I was familiar with growing up, but when I took German in high school, my German teacher said, Kaffeeklatsch. We just get around and we discuss things over coffee, right? So it's non-threatening, unless you're one of the insane Karens. Then you'll be very uncomfortable with this conversation, and you're going to have to listen to it. It's part of your punishment. Yes. I rarely use bad language. I have so sanitized myself because I'm a Christian. I don't like to use bad language. But this is beyond. It's like the balance tips, when you have some scales and then you just put one more grain of sand and boom, suddenly the balance, boom. Put one more straw in the camel's back, boom. I don't want to break any camel's back. Please don't abuse camels, please. What? It's not enough to say, it's really bad that a healthcare professional would say how you could poison people. And half the time the woman's on her shift, and I didn't know that mean lady with the glasses was saying mean things about Carolyn Levitt. That's so terrible. Yeah, the labor and delivery nurse was saying mean things about Carolyn Levitt. Caroline, I'm sorry if I pronounced it incorrectly. As a woman who's given birth just a few times, just a few times more than two, you rely on women to help you. I mean, the man was usually the doctor, but the nurses are around you, they're supporting you, they're helping you, hopefully they're competent, It's all right if you're a bit incompetent, but if you get to the level of being maliciously incompetent or incompetently malicious or just malicious, that's where I draw the line. This is so unacceptable in American society. So I'm dealing with the homegrown American Karen, which would be, I would say that would be like your average white Karen. Okay, there are black Karens out there, I know, and other people are dealing with them. Okay, it's not my prerogative, it's not my purview. I can pass along what other people say, if it's their area of expertise. If they want to deal with the black Karens and talk about it, then I guess you had a reason to talk about it, and I'll pass the information along. But who am I to judge somebody that's not part of my immediate neighborhood? You know what I'm saying? It's like you could have a bad impression of anybody based on one negative interaction. Well, I had a really bad interaction with an Australian Aborigine yesterday, so all Aborigines are bad. No, tain't necessarily so. But when you go on TikTok and you do these ridiculous little self-petting selfies, like, oh, I'm so beautiful. Oh, let me pet myself more and more. Oh, I feel so good. That's annoying enough, but it doesn't rise to the criminal level until you start saying, well, what you can do is you can put biological agents in syringes with needles on them. My goodness gracious. Do you know what that lady said? I'm not talking about the lady with the glasses. I'm talking about the lady without the glasses. I don't want to rehash this. I don't want to reiterate it. Suffice it to say, she is describing how you can engage in acts of bioterrorism against ICE agents. Bioterrorism, Karen. Look it up in your little skinny nurse's dictionary. Oh, they didn't have that term in my little skinny nurse's dictionary. Okay, I'm not making fun of nurses. 99% of them are wonderful, terrific people, dedicated. Their life is stressful. They do such a wonderful job. You see, that's a sad thing. I'm almost crying a tear because you are disparaging the whole nursing industry by doing what you have done. You and the lady with the glasses. One of them is named Melinda. Melinda. You know, never mind. I'm not going to say it. I'm never going to name my daughter Melinda. Let's just hypothetically speaking. Hypothetically, if your grandparents were Nazis and they really loved Hitler, what do you think they might have named their son? Adolf, yeah. And hypothetically, did he have to change his name to Alan? Yeah. Okay, so anyway, I digressed. What in the world? No, these people will be emboldened by TikTok because it's something like it's onanism. You know what I'm saying? Onanism. It is social onanism. Look it up in the dictionary because I don't want to corrupt young minds. Stroking myself while you're working at the actual healthcare facility, you're making these videos. Oh, here's another idea. You are lost in a honey, first of all, take off that cap. I mean, you have contagion that the cap can't cover. What are you doing? You are cray Karen. Saying you're going to inject people and you're going to squirt poison ivy. You even told people, like, we'll soak, poison ivy stuff in a bucket and then you make it a liquid and you squirt people in the face. My father had a terrible reaction to poison ivy. I mean, his face would really puff up and swell up, and you are a malicious, malignant narcissist. Bitch! Okay, sorry. I had to say... You are just so bad. And how do we counteract this malignant narcissism? When you are found guilty of doing something like this, and you should be in prison perhaps you have committed these acts of bioterrorism, perhaps you have inspired others to do it, or you have merely suggested means by which acts of bioterrorism could occur. It doesn't matter. It all falls under my umbrella. If there's not a statute, let's find a statute. Please. In God's holy name. You have to stand up to the Karens. You have to do it. I didn't do it when I was bullied in school. I did not stand up to them. I was bullied and I was just like, vegetable lasagna, please. Please don't hit me anymore. Please. But nowadays we're grown up. We're grown up. We don't put up with this crap. Well, be easy on the women. They were just having a bad menstrual cycle. No, I'm not being easy on a terrorist. I am not being easy on a would-be biological terrorist. Because it's only like, oh, well, she said succinylcholine. That paralyzes a person. If you give them enough, that's how that Gabby person died. She must watch true crime, but she's a complete idiot. You paralyze somebody, they cannot move, and then you set the room on fire. You set it on fire. That happened in a hotel somewhere in New Hampshire, someplace where they were supposed to have like this romantic getaway. This nurse wife injected her estranged husband with something akin to succinylcholine. He was paralyzed, and then she set the bed on fire. And the guy was totally paralyzed, and he burned to death, and he was alive. He was conscious. He couldn't breathe. My God, what kind of a sick weirdo are you? You are fucking sick. I'm sorry, I usually don't use this kind of language. It must have risen to the level where I have to use language just to be relevant. Language that I normally wouldn't use, to show you that I am upset. how do we deal with this? I would say if somebody is arrested for this, don't let them out on bail. They might skip town. They might go to Guadalajara and dye their hair black and put on some face paint and pretend they're Mexican. No, 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 no. You do not give them bail. At first I was thinking, well, 5 years prison sentence, maybe 6 months. I don't even know. Like how this must be nipped in the bud, as we say in idiomatic English. You've got to nip it in the bud. Nip it in the bud. Now, if convicted, such a person, like the crazy nurse Karen, this is what has to happen to her. She has to have all of her makeup taken off. She has to have her head shaved. She has to be forced to wear a clingy spandex suit. And she only gets to shower once a day. Oh, poor Karen, I just showered 5 times a day. It's just, she doesn't have access to makeup. She can't do her fingernails. But put her to some good work, like weaving or something like that. Teach her a craft, something. She might occupy her mind productively, because otherwise, you know what she'll do? Little baldy Shamu will sit around talking to the other Karens and complaining, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and they feed off of each other. You don't want them talking to each other, not that much. No, this is your project. You have a weaving project or you have a sewing project. That would be so kind. It would be so kind, but at the same time, let them look at themselves in a mirror once a day if they want to and see, oh, I'm not that beautiful, phony baloney person that I portrayed on TikTok. I don't have the appropriate lighting. I don't have my beautiful long locks anymore. I'm bald, just like all the other female prisoners. I'm bald, and I'm ashamed of what I've done. I'm so ashamed. I'm so ashamed. Wow, if we could just bring shame back. If people feared being shamed, then they wouldn't do this crazy stuff. These are my recommendations. Thank you for listening. Adios.